Hey, you. You're finally awake.
Hello Smut Squad and welcome back to the channel. Sometimes when we play video games, we like it to be easy. We just want to chill out, have a nice time, and not get too stressed by what we're playing. So today I'm going to be looking at some of the easiest games for the NES. Before we go any further, if you think I deserve it, please remember to hit that like, hype, and subscribe button, as well as listen to the weekly podcast and join our free Discord. As always, this isn't a definitive list. I want to hear what you guys have got to say. Do you think Ninja Gaiden deserves to be on this list? If so, let me know in those comments. Now, let's get into it, shall we? Easy NES games. Felix the Cat. Released by Hudson Soft in 1992, Felix the Cat is a side-scrolling platform game based on the classic cartoon character. Now, this story follows Felix as he attempts to rescue Kitty after she's kidnapped by the Professor. Obviously, we are going with bare basics here. Throughout the game, Felix uses his magical bag of tricks to gain a variety of power-ups, vehicles, and special abilities that help him progress through 9 colourful and varied worlds. Felix the Cat is widely regarded as one of the easiest and most accessible platformers on the console. The main reason this game is so easy is that taking damage rarely results in an immediate death. Instead, when Felix is hit, he typically loses a level of power rather than a life. And this gives players plenty of time to recover from their mistakes, which I love because we all know I'm terrible at video games. And as you progress through the game and collect enough Felix faces, they gain access to increasingly powerful forms, including tanks, aircraft, and other special vehicles. And these upgraded forms have ridiculously strong attacks, excellent range, and can often eliminate enemies before they even become a threat. And once fully powered, Felix can move through many sections of the game with very little difficulty, making it easy to avoid danger and defeat bosses and making them bow down to my absolute will. The game is generous with those power-ups and collectibles, such as Felix faces, milk bottles, and other items frequently appear throughout the level. And because the resources are so abundant, players can quickly regain lost power and often remain fully upgraded for the whole game. This reduces those consequences of making mistakes and helps making a steady sense of progression, which for a gamer who just wants a chill life, I'm gonna take that all day long. And while some games can screw you over with difficult jumps and hidden traps and instant death hazards, Felix isn't like that. The jumps are forgiving, enemy placement is genuinely fair, and there are relatively few moments that require precise timing. This game focuses more on exploration and fun rather than test and playing reflexes. This is not Ninja Gaiden, I'll tell you that. And the good thing is, Felix controls really well. Many difficult NES games become frustrating because of the awkward movement or slippery controls. Felix the Cat avoids these problems, helping players feel in control throughout the whole adventure. See, he ain't like that stupid Alex Kidd, who is so slippy you may as well give him the surname Toad. And yes, this game was made for children, let's not beat around the bush. But despite that low difficulty, Felix the Cat is highly regarded among retro gaming enthusiasts. The game combines attractive graphics, imaginative gameplay, smooth controls, and charming presentation with that difficulty level that allows most players to enjoy the experience from start to finish. The Flintstones, The Surprise at Dinosaur Peak. Now, I absolutely love the Flintstones, it was part of my childhood growing up. And this game was released by Taito in 1994, and it's one of the final licensed games released for the NES. The game follows Fred and Barney as they set out to rescue Pebbles and Bam Bam after the children become stranded near an erupting volcano. Well, that's just bad parenting. Along the way, players travel through a variety of colourful stages, collecting gemstones and overcoming obstacles before reaching Dinosaur Peak. This Flintstones title is also one of the most rarest and most valuable NES games today, so if anyone's got a copy, please send it free through the post. Now this game, like Felix, has a generous health meter. You can take multiple hits before losing a life, you collect food to restore health, and you can actually increase your maximum health by finding heart items. This means, like Felix the Cat, you've got that margin for error, which is great for new players. Like Felix, the enemies are also placed in visible locations, hazards can be anticipated, and platforming sections are designed with reasonable spacing and timing requirements. This is not Bubsy, and if you haven't played Bubsy on the Super Nintendo, oh my god, play that game, it's dreadful. You also have unlimited continues, so if a player loses all their lives, the game allows you to continue from the last level reached rather than forcing to start from the beginning. This is great for children, and me, because I don't want to have to restart the game all over again. And whilst there is a difficulty curve like most video games, the difficulty spike isn't that bad. So the early stages you get taught all you need to know, so by the time you get to the end, you should be okay and fairly competent to be able to play this game. And yes, Flintstones is not as easy as Felix the Cat or another game on this list. It is far more forgiving than other hardest titles which you can put forward like Contra. and I'll take that all day long. Rampage. Released on the NES in 1988, Rampage is a home conversion of Midway's popular arcade game, but sadly in this game you only get to use two of the characters, George the Gorilla and Lizzie the Giant Lizard. Now, while Rampage can be considered quite repetitive, it is generally considered one of the easier games on the NES. That's because you just gotta destroy everything. No platforming, no memorising enemy patterns, just destroy everything, watch your health, and avoid damage. Simple as that. And how do you get your health back? You can eat people. Yes, I encourage eating people. Well, not really, cannibalism isn't my sort of thing, but in a video game sense, go for it, do what you want. And one of the most forgiving aspects of Rampage is actually the continue system. When you're defeated and revert back to your human form, players can continue and return to the action rather than being forced to restart the entire game. And this makes reaching later cities achievable even for inexperienced players. Now, you've got the military constantly attacking you, which kind of makes sense as you're destroying their city, but most enemy behaviour is simple and easy to understand. And in this, you'll be fighting soldiers, tanks, helicopters, aircrafts, and while they do gradually wear down your health, they're generally more irritating than truly dangerous. So once you get their attack patterns down, it's fairly routine to be able to get rid of them, and then maybe eat them. Unlike the arcade version, the NES port allows two players to work together, so if you want to give the controller to your little brother or sister, they can have fun as well and destroy the world with you. Probably don't tell your parents what you're up to. Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers. Now, Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is based on a popular Disney animated television series which I watched growing up as a kid. Players control either Chip or Dale as they battle Fat Cat and his gang while rescuing their kidnapped friend Gadget. And Chip 'n Dale actually became one of Capcom's most beloved NES titles and is often considered one of the best licensed games on the system. Now, this is actually a fairly straightforward game. You can run, jump, pick up items, and throw them. There's no complicated special moves, weapon systems, or advanced mechanics to learn. New players pretty much figure out what you gotta do in the first 2 seconds of the game. But also, throwing objects makes this game particularly easy. Like, basically, they can throw everything, like tiny little crates, which make no sense how they're even made. I don't understand why there are tiny crates for chipmunks, whatever. But throwing them at an enemy instantly kills them apart from one which needs 2 hits. But apart from that, you can just grab a crate, throw it at them from a ridiculous distance, and they're dead. Or you can just duck underneath the crate, and the enemy walks into the crate. They die. Haha, take that, suckers. Now you can walk into me and die, rather than the other way round. It also has a generous health system where you can take multiple hits without dying, and again, the environments themselves are more about having fun than actually trying to test you. The game itself is actually quite short. Yes, there are branching paths to encourage multiple playthroughs, but you can have it done in reasonably an hour if you're really good. There's also a 2-player mode which makes the game even easier when you can just start throwing things left, right, centre, and this is especially helpful during the boss fights. And the boss fights themselves are pretty easy. Even the final boss is just Fat Cash just putting ash on you. Yes, it's ash from his cigar. I don't know how that does damage. Well, I suppose ash wouldn't do damage. Hot rocks from his cigar might do it, but not ash. But yeah, that's the final boss. And all you gotta do is throw this red ball at him. Yeah, it's all you do with the boss is just throw a red ball. Every boss in this game is defeated by a red ball. Don't ask why. But regardless, the controls handle really well because it's Capcom. They don't mess around with this shit. They make really good games with controls that just make me go, ooh, tingly in my spine. But Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers is considered one of the easiest and most enjoyable platforms on the system just because of those simple controls, the forgiving combat system, the generous health, and the fair level design. Yes, it is short, as I said, but it's still a good fun game to play and everyone should give it a go. And yes, I will be doing an episode of the podcast in a few weeks. Puss in Boots: Perro's Great Adventure. Now, this is an action game based on Toei Animation's mascot, Perro. Hang on, Toei? Right, oi, Toei, bones pick with you. Stop picking on Team 4-Star, they're doing absolute god's work. Let them continue Dragon Ball Z Abridged. This game is very short and can be finished in one sitting, which is great because I haven't got time to be doing an 100-hour adventure like Persona. Yes, I know some of you may want Persona to be done for the podcast. That's going to be a long time until I start cracking through those games. No chance, I'm more likely to be doing these games because I can get it done in one sitting and then give you a quick review and laugh at it, and then shout at Toei more, because that's what I do. Throughout the game, enemies do pose very little threat to you. You can often jump over them, move around them, or eliminate them from a very safe distance. And you can actually basically do this game without much combat at all, making the challenge very low level compared to even games like Chip and Dale. Pero uses ranged weapons that allow him to attack the enemy before they even get close to him, because who actually wants to go and fight your enemies face to face? No, just fight them from afar. The levels are very linear and very easy to navigate. There's very few puzzles, hidden objectives, or complicated mechanics for little kids to learn. And yes, this is focused on younger players, because it's Puss in Boots for God's sake. And this is meant to be a light-hearted adventure, so don't be putting it in the Nintendo hard category, because it's definitely not going to be that. The bosses themselves do appear difficult, but they've actually got simple attack patterns that can be learned very quickly, and once you figure that out and get into a safe distance, yeah, they're pretty straightforward. It does have platforming sections with vehicle segments, flying sections, and water sections, and while they do add variety, they don't really add much challenge, so don't worry, your 5-year-old child's probably going to have no problem doing it. But still, it's a colourful game, it's got great presentation, and it's a short little one. But still, Puss in Boots: Pero's Great Adventures is considered an easy game, and it's got that good level of polish with unique varied locations, level themes, accessible gameplay, where little kids can have a fun adventure. Adults will probably get bored of it pretty quickly, but if you just want something you can just play with your kids and be done in maybe an hour or two, that'll be great for them, and probably a way to get them into gaming just in general, rather than Fortnite. Yeah, we don't give them Fortnite as kids, although people are going to be shouting at me, yes we do, it's exactly what we do. We have the Goku skin on and we let them go wild with a gun. Super Mario Brothers. Yes, I'm putting Super Mario Brothers in here because I want to put something that has at least some challenge in here. And some of you may be saying, Mario isn't an easy game. Well, I challenge you to say it actually is. Compared to other games like Battletoads, Ghosts and Goblins, Ninja Gaiden, Castlevania, Mario sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, running feels natural, jumping's precise, the momentum is predictable, and your mistakes feel fair. Like, if you died, it's because you did something wrong. And let's be frank, when you play World 1-1, it gives you everything you need to know. The movement, the jumping, the enemies, the power-ups, everything's shown to you there. And yes, while there is a difficulty curve, it's nothing too strenuous. It's not like you're playing the Lost Levels or anything like that, or Super Mario World 2 compared to when you're in Japan. It's pretty straightforward. And it's not like you're going to die in one hit and that's the end of it, because there's loads of chances to get extra lives in this game. And eventually, if you know what you're doing, you can use a scoring trick to get unlimited lives. There's also the warp pipes. Yes, if you know exactly what you're doing, you can skip entire worlds. And you can actually reach the final world like in a few minutes. Like, what's the world record for beating Mario? Like 5 minutes? I know that's using the warp pipes, but still, you can be done. All the enemies themselves have pretty much easy mechanics and easy patterns to do, like Goombas, Koopas, the Hammer Bros. Yeah, the Hammer Bros can be a bit of a dick, but once you figure out the pattern, it's fine. And whilst, yes, I do understand there's no save feature, falling into pits can cause instant death, later worlds do require precise jumping, especially World 8, I'm not an idiot, I know that can be quite difficult as well, but the challenges themselves, you should have built you up to that point. But this game prepares you for the challenge. I'm not putting Super Mario Bros. 3 on here because that is a far more difficult game, but I think Mario 1 is one of the most accessible platformers you're ever going to get. The game is fair and it gives you all the tools you need to be able to complete the game. Again, some of you may argue at me at this one, and that's fine, that's exactly what the comment's for, but it's staying on my list. But I definitely agree, it's not the easiest game on this list. Because finally, Kirby's Adventure. Ah, good old Kirby. Ow! Kirby himself, that was me, by the way. That's me doing a silly impression, I apologise. Kirby's Adventure was one of the final major first-party games released for the NES back in the day, in 1993. The game follows Kirby as he travels across Dreamland to restore the Star Rod after King Dedede breaks it into pieces. This game looks beautiful for the NES. It's basically right at the end of its life cycle, so it knew exactly what it could do and basically pushed the console to its absolute limit. But it is regarded as one of the easiest and most beginner-friendly games on the system. And the reason for this, Kirby can fly. Well, float, bob, I don't know. Unlike Mario and other characters who just basically jump and then they'll fall to the ground, Kirby inflates himself and can float freely through the air for extended periods. This basically reduces the difficulty of platforming because players can simply just fly over the obstacles, enemies, pits, hazards with relative ease. And that's what Kirby is. Boop, 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 boop. Just floating away. Kirby has a sizable health bar as well, which means he can take more hits before losing a life, and there are healing items everywhere throughout this game, so dying is really, really difficult. This game also introduced Kirby's copy ability, where he would suck off inhale enemies and then copy their powers. This would include sword, fire, ice, beam, hammer, tornado, and many of these abilities are extremely powerful, and large portions of the game just become a joke because Kirby can just go through them. Even the bosses can fall to Kirby so easily because of these power-ups. And the bosses in this game do have clear attack patterns and generous openings, because as I said, it's for kids, it's not meant to be challenging. The game itself has a helpful level structure, as the game is divided into themed worlds with individual stages that are connected by this overworld map, which means that levels are relatively short, progress is easy to track, the mini-games in there provide extra lives, and players receive regular break between their challenges, which is great for little ones. The game really feels exhausting or overwhelming just because it keeps giving you new ideas gradually. And you also get plenty of opportunities to earn extra lives through the mini-games, hidden areas, and collectible items. So you'll have so many lives, you really shouldn't have any problems finishing it. And by the early 90s, game designers recognised that not every game needs to be extreme difficulty levels like Castlevania, and Kirby was designed to be welcoming, allowing younger gamers and beginners to complete the adventure while still offering enough secrets and optional content for experienced players. And Kirby's Adventure continued that, considered one of the easiest games on the NES because it gave players numerous advantages: his ability to fly, the large health bar, so many healing items, the powerful copy abilities, extra lives, and fair boss design that gave a forgiving experience but welcomed all players of all skill levels. And that's it, some of the easiest games for the NES. Are the ones I've missed? And if so, let me know in the comments, or do you agree and the ones I put on this list were spot on? Until then, I'll see you all in a few days from the video. My name's been Danny, take care of yourself, follow your dreams.